Xbox Live has been down for 16 hours at the time of writing, preventing players from launching both digital and physical games. Welcome to Inside Games Daily, the only game news show brave enough to say that multiple Xbox Live outages is not the best way to show folks a new Xbox.
Yeah, on the eve of Halo? Geez, this isn't great at all. Maybe, I don't know, hey, maybe they should have kept some people employed so they could actually keep these services running when people want to use the services they're paying for. But you know what? I'm not a tech CEO. What do I know? I didn't punch up a bunch of fun articles and change everything to all caps. So I don't know. This is obviously a developing situation. It may be totally different by the time this airs or by the time you see it. But as of last refresh, yes, still down. Not good.
Jeez. Reddit threads reporting the outage started popping up around 9 p.m. Pacific time on Sunday, July 26th. Folks vented understandable frustration at receiving an error message reading, quote, "Try again later. There might be an outage in our online service. Try again in a few minutes. And if you get this error again, check the service status." And that's when launching any game.
And folks vented extra understandable frustration at the Xbox Live status page, which didn't really acknowledge the outage at all for a few hours, making that check the status thing a little extra galling.
The status page has since been updated to show major outages in multiple Xbox Live services. So status updates on the site claim that Xbox has identified the issue, but they offer no ETA for a fix. That's not good.
And at the last refresh, the status has changed from having identified the issue to now saying, quote, "It's taking longer than anticipated." Yeah, I think that was true when we exited the first hour, and now it's extra true about 17 hours in.
Xbox's official support account on X also acknowledged the outage with a few posts that offered little information, saying that Xbox engineers are, quote, "actively working to mitigate the issue," and that they, quote, "appreciate your patience while our teams keep working on it."
This extended outage comes after a few extra special Xbox Live hitches last week. A similar but seemingly less widespread outage hit Xbox Live last week, like I just said, which may or may not have been connected to another issue that prevented folks from accessing Halo Campaign Evolved's early access period, despite having paid for it.
Man, that's gotta suck. Imagine paying for the early access and then Xbox Live is down? I would be furious. Jeez. There's another elephant in the room too, eloquently addressed by Reddit user Reclining9694. They said, quote, "Can someone please explain why a server outage means I can't play any of my games locally offline?"
Yeah, this sucks. So Xbox consoles can be put into an offline mode that will preserve access to games, but you need to be online when you do that. And I think you also have to run the individual games at least once online so they can authenticate, but that's only good for a little while, and then you have to do it again. So it's a whole complicated mess, really.
Yeah, there's no real reason for a console user to think about all this bullshit when everything is working, right? Because everything is just, you just turn it on and it goes. There's a lot of authentication happening in the background. And you really shouldn't have to do any of this either.
Yeah, wasn't that the whole point? The whole thing about consoles is that you just plug it in and turn it on and it works. But we don't live in that world anymore. Now, to be fair, for however fair we can be, it seems like this outage hasn't locked out all games for everyone, despite how widespread it really sounds.
Yeah, some users report being able to launch particular games and not others, or play specific games through Xbox Cloud. So, all right.
Yeah, some folks said that all Game Pass games weren't working, but the ones that they did own were hit and miss. But yeah, some people definitely said, "I have the damn disc. Why isn't the game running?"
Of course, this outage is not happening in a vacuum, as you would know, because we reported on this just a few days ago. PlayStation announced they would end all physical disc production in January 2028, earlier this month. And of course, there's been lots of protesting, right, Lawrence?
Oh, yeah. On everything. It's been a little bit heartening to see. At least this isn't being taken lying down like a lot of things tend to be. Fans have been protesting this announcement ever since, everywhere they can, dogpiling unrelated posts on social media with complaints about this move.
There's even a whole blackout boycott thing happening. Gaming accessibility account Does It Play is organizing a 1-week PlayStation blackout in August to form up the frustration into collective action, which I love.
I love too. I hope it sticks this time. Getting the gamers to actually execute on something and deprive themselves of gaming time is always a tall order. But hey, we could do it when we put our minds to it, right?
Yes, Lawrence, we can, but will they is the question. In the case of Xbox, it seems even having a disc doesn't prevent a server outage from ruining whatever small amount of time you might have to game. And on the eve of Halo Campaign Evolved, their launch and their early access launch. That is possibly the worst time to have this happen.
Yeah, especially if you have a very limited amount of time off, you ask for it off of work, you get everything in line, you get your little pizza in the oven, and then boom, just an error message. That's all you get. And I'd like to say it's going to get better from here, but these instances don't make it feel like it. Reddit user Leather Entry 93, it's a very spicy name, wisely predicts future catastrophes like this, writing, quote, "I'm not looking forward to seeing what happens when GTA 6 launches, the digital-only GTA 6 that we're all going to have to download all at the same time. It's going to be like everybody flushing their toilets during the Stanley Cup finals and stuff like that. So it's going to get bad, Bruce. And yeah, this is what really ticks me off, is the thinking that people who work so much and have tried to align everything in their lives just to afford like one evening, one day, one weekend, especially with GTA 6. A lot of people are going to be taking time off for that. If these outages rob that time, then you're like, this is what you paid for. This is what you aligned everything for. I don't know. There's got to be some kind of recompense, right? Free week of Xbox Live. Everyone gets 25% off their bill. I don't know. I feel like service providers have baked in this like, well, sometimes things just go wrong. Like sometimes things just whoopsie. But if you're paying for 24/7 uptime, there are no whoopsies, or every whoopsie ought to have some kind of refund.
You're absolutely right. And I mean, I'll be even calloused and say let's say there's not very many people that are actually taking time off to play Halo Campaign Evolved, sitting down with a pizza. I'm sure there are a few, but not a lot. But they all paid for that early access. They paid for the premium edition, or they paid for that early access upgrade. And they can't play? Like, that's crazy to me. That's an automatic refund from Microsoft. Absolutely. If they paid $20 or $30 for the upgrade for Halo to play early, and then the early access period is down, automatic refund. There should be no, hemming and hawing over at Microsoft, the trillion fucking dollar company. They should be like, we'll give you back your $20. Like, we blew it,
Yes, I agree. I feel like now more than ever, especially with the physical aspect of games starting to dissolve, time is everything. The time you have spent to playing, and kind of like you brought up, Bruce, the fact that games publishers now are monetizing time. That's every game has early access because it's the one thing everyone wants is more time with the games that they like. So when these things come around, it ought to cut just as hard the other way. If they're going to charge you $50 to play a game 4 days early, they ought to make some gesture to reveal that they think your time is as valuable as they're willing to charge you for it.
And we also just reported on the PlayStation outage. Like, the PlayStation outage was happening on Friday, and I think that was down for what, like 16 hours, 12 hours, something like that. I don't know that it was down for 24. And a lot of people in the comments, by the way, of that episode were like, you guys didn't do your reporting. You can actually play these digital games offline. And I was like, yes, some people can do that. That was not the actual the news story. The news story was that the outage was on the heels of the fact that they're going fully digital. And what I'm saying is they're taking away as many like other avenues for you to play your video games as they possibly can. And then when their service goes down, they're the only game in town. And Xbox is going that way as well. And these outages should be really shedding light on all that, and everyone should be seeing it for what it is, not making excuses for, again, the billion and trillion dollar companies.
Yes, the presence of a solution doesn't make it viable or practical for everyone. That's kind of a PC mentality, to be honest. Like, I'm having this issue. Well, here's this other solution that just requires 20 hours of work and reading a few books. I think if you have a console especially, it is reasonable to expect that things just work. That's what they're supposed to provide. Versus maybe getting better deals or better performance out of a PC. But the trade-off is you have to invest the time and learn how the system works. You shouldn't have to fucking do that with a console. You shouldn't have to know the vagaries of how digital rights managements work on Xbox or PlayStation, and know that for every 2 weeks you've got to go into a menu and tap always play offline or designate this as my home console just in case a router goes out. That's dumb. And you don't get anything in return, really, aside from higher prices on PlayStation and the occasional inability to play your damn games. I guess you don't have to get up and walk across the room to swap discs anymore, so that's kind of nice. You don't have to go to the store to buy digital, and sometimes you get a better deal on digital, but damn. It's... I think is it like feasible or rational for somebody that pays to have a certain type of experience just because there is a way they could have done it better that it like invalidates their frustrations? Nope, not at all. I did see this. This is slightly related. theoretically, this is a good guy Xbox thing right at the end here, that Xbox on PC is now going to roll out digital ownership of certain Ubisoft games that you own digitally on Xbox console. And to me, this is kind of another step towards Project Helix, basically merging their console and PC footprints. That's kind of nice, a little digital freebie. Doesn't matter if you can't download or play it, but they're gonna have to figure this shit out, man. If this is already where consoles are at, with these kind of PC style technical hitches and server outages and stuff, they are like the hardware itself may be the best thing in the world, but if you're asking a console user to suddenly negotiate all this bullshit plus how complicated PC can be, it's just going to be dead in the water. How is it going to make any sense to somebody if they plug in their Xbox that they can't access a game through this one launcher, but they can through another? Nobody should have to know that. It should just be boom, game, go. So we'll see if they get there. I have my doubts at this point.
When we spoke with Microsoft about the Xbox, the ROG Xbox Ally, I remember Microsoft saying to us when we were like updating the software on the Xbox Ally, they're like, it'll be easier. I don't know that it ever got easier because they knew that that's the barrier to entry for PC is to like turn it on and then play a game. That's not easy to do on a PC. A lot of the times it's not. There's a bunch of bullshit that launches and you like have to close a bunch of launchers and open a bunch of launchers and there's a bunch of startup garbage. Lawrence and I have been PC gamers for 25 years. We're used to navigating it. But people who are coming from console to PC are not. So that's the worst. That's all the way around the worst. I also wanted to talk about the server outages. The fact that PlayStation and Xbox have happened back to back. To me, it's one of two things. It's DDoSs. I think it's DDoSs of people being upset that that Sony was like, this is all, we're going fully digital. So then they're DDoSing these services. Or I think you brought this up. They could be the fact that they laid a bunch of people off at Microsoft and then the servers went out. Like they might have laid off a couple of people that were actually doing the thing that they needed them to do. Now they're gone and the servers go down. Like there is no good explanation for this, but those might be, a couple of hypotheticals.
Yeah, it's possible. You have to wonder, you cut that many jobs, something's got to fall through. For some reason, the message has just been that despite cutting all these jobs, that all of our games publishers and producers are going to make even more games, and furthermore, they're all the ones you remember and love. No, it's just not possible. If you have fewer heads in the room, you're going to get less work done. So it's where my mind goes when certain services and routine functions start falling through, is that people maybe took for granted the folks that were keeping the wheels turning, and now they're not turning anymore. Hey, and speaking of that, Brian is on vacation. He's on the road right now, which is why he's not on the show. And he'll be on vacation for the next couple weeks. You might be able to enjoy his writing here because he can still send in scripts and whatnot. But he'll be gone for a while. I'm sure when he comes back, he'll have a delicious tan and a new outlook on life. Hey, speaking of, thank you for watching Inside Games Daily. We hope by the time you see this that Xbox is back up and you can, play those games you paid for. But if you still need to kill some time and you're waiting for that laptop to reboot, please check out our Patreon. It's basically a long string of meme shit posts at this point. It does make for some good scrolling, though. You can kill a lunch break pretty easily doing it. Because I take every episode we make and I post it there for free with a custom select meme, and they go way back to the spicy days, the jet fuel can't melt steel beams days. There's some good memes going back there. So thank you very much for watching. Shout outs to our Patreon supporters who keep the show going. Thank you, Shaky Pants, Splinkerton, Forkendoggin, Rattlelog, Rooster, and Caleb Clark. We really appreciate you, and we'll see you next time on Inside Games.